Welcome folks to Mr. Wickland's Virtual Classroom. Welcome back. Today what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be studying lesson number 7, and that's relating fractions, decimals, and percents. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of show how all three have a relationship, okay, and how they interact with each other. So, like I said, normally on a test, I'd be giving you a fraction, something out of something. So let's say 25 out of 30. And then what I would do is I would make that into a percent. So, 25, so 24 out of 30 would be 80%. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing today. For the sake of this, for room, I'm just going to write my fraction horizontally like this. So please don't get a little out of sorts if you see something that's completely different than what you're used to. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to prop this up a little bit. Perfect. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this floor plan right here. And what we're going to notice is that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a 10 by 10 grid, which means that there's going to be 100 squares. Okay? So when we take a look at this, let's take a look at the plan. We're going to write a fraction, we're going to write a decimal, and we're going to write a percent. Because when I divide my fraction, whatever it may be, 10 out of 100, if I divide that, my decimal is going to be decimal 0.10. Okay? That's just what's going to happen. My fraction will equal my decimal, and then when I multiply by 100, I am going to get my percent. Okay? So let's take a look at the quiet room. Quiet room has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? By 3. So it's 5 by 3. That's what the quiet room. So 5 times 3 is 15. So my fraction is going to be 15 out of 100. Let me just use blue pen and make highlight a little bit better. So 15 out of 100. If I divide that, what is that as a decimal? That is 0.15. Okay? And if I multiply 0.15 by 100, or if I move 2 decimal places to the right, I am going to get 15%. So what that means is that the quiet room, let's say this was a building, the quiet room is taking up 15% of the building. Now let's look at the playroom. Playroom's big, okay? Obviously, if it's a school or something, you want the playroom to be big, or think of a gym, for instance. The gym is going to be probably a little bit bigger than maybe most of the classrooms, right? So let's take a look at that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it's 7 by 5. 7 times 5 is 35. So my fraction is going to be 35 out of 100. So it's taking up 35 spaces out of the 100. Well, if I write that as a decimal, it's basically just moving the decimal place, or if I divide by 100, I'm moving the decimal 2 places to the left, which is 0.35. Okay? Then to get a percent, it's basically taking this and canceling the 100, if you can see that. It's 35, right? So what I do is I move it back 2 decimal places to the right, and I get 35%. So what I'm seeing is that the playroom is actually taking up 35% of the space. So let's take a look at the hallway. The hallway is rather unique. It's not a square, it's not a rectangle or a square, so I just have to count those individually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So my fraction is 15 out of 100. We've already done 15, 0.15, and that is 50%. I have a feeling that you're kind of getting where I'm going with this, so I'm going to just move a little bit quicker. The washrooms are up here. 1, 2, 3. 3 out of 100. The washrooms don't take up much space at all. Now, how do I write 3 out of 100? Well, I don't have any tenths, so I don't have any whole numbers. I have no tenths. All I have is hundreds, 300s, or like 3 cents, for instance, which then would be 3%. So it's taking up 3% of the building. Storage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Storage isn't taking up a whole lot of the building. 0.04. Again, I have no tenths, and that would be 4%. Okay? How much is the office taking up? The office is taking up 4 out of 100, equals 0.04, equals 4%. I hope you're starting to notice that these are just, they all equal each other. Okay? So as long as I remember to multiply by 100 to get to my percentage, right? Because percentage is done in whole numbers, not decimals, not fractions. Okay? Kitchen. Kitchen is 8 out of 100. No tenths still, 0.08. Multiply by 100, I get 8%. So if you got 8 out of 100 on a test, you guys already know you did not do well. Well, in fact, you got 8% of the questions right. That's what it's telling you. Lunchroom, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So lunchroom is 4 times 4, which is 16 out of 100, which is 0.16. So lunchroom, when we're taking a look at this, lunchroom is the second biggest building in the school. And then I multiply by 100 and I get 16%. Okay. Now what you should notice is that with percent, because it's out of 100, you know, when I'm dealing with this, it should all equal 100 because every space has been used up. Okay. So what I want you to clearly see is that fractions, decimals, and percents are 3 ways to describe parts of one whole. Okay. And so what I mean by that is I'm just going to do a little illustration up here for us. Okay. So one thing I want you to keep in mind too is to remember that percent means out of 100. And then if you don't have a fraction that's dealing with 10 or 100, you need to make it equivalent to 100. So for instance, let's take a look at what we have here. What's my fraction? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 10 are shaded in. Would you agree with that? Yes. Notice I have a little triangle. It just kind of goes back and forth. Okay. So 7 out of 10 are shaded red. If I go down here, what is my decimal? My decimal would be 0.7. Okay. Now what if I wanted a percent? Well, if I move it out 2 places to the right, or if I multiply by 100, I am going to get 70%. And then that can go back here to 7/7. So it's just kind of a triangle that just keeps going. Okay. And so 7/10, 0.7, multiplied by 100, I get 70%. Okay. And when you look at it, it looks like, you know, more than half has been shaded. And in fact, 70% has been shaded. Last but not least, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at what percent of these colors are blue. Well, if I take a look at the top, I have 6 out of 12 that are black, and I have 6 out of 12 that are shaded blue. Now here's the thing. I've normally been using 10 or 100 in order to figure out my percentage and my decimal. Okay? Well, I can still do that because I can use equivalent fractions. Okay? And so what I mean by that is, can I divide each of these by 6? That's the question. What's the biggest I can divide each of these by to get it to its simplest state? So 2 would obviously, that would work, okay, and it would end up giving me 3/6, right? So, but if I can divide by 6, divide each of these by 6, I'm going to end up with 1/2. Now, if I have half, what can I multiply 2 by to get to 100? Okay, so I need to double something. So what I need to ask myself is, what do I need to multiply 2 by to get to 100? Well, what is half of 100? Half of 100 is 50. So what I do to the bottom I must do to the top. So if I multiply each by 50, I'm going to get 50 over 100. So it said what percent of these counters are blue? Well, 50 over 100 equals 0.50, which equals 50%. So you probably already knew that half were, but how do I get there? How did I get to that number? That is the key. That is the question. Okay. And so 50% of my counters are blue. All right. So that's all I really have for you today. Your practice is 314, 315, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 10. I don't think you'll have too many issues with that. I'm going to put that on Google Classroom so that you have it. Anyways, have yourself a great day. I will be live at 11 a.m. if you need to speak with me. Talk to you later.